right? So we'll learn how do we actually create a page and how do we bring the data onto that page from the database in the backend. All right. So let's get into creating our first page for displaying the data. We'll remove everything from the URL after salesforce.com, delete everything, put a slash, then put apex, and then put your page name, whatever name you want to give to the page. All right. So because this is going to be a custom page that you're going to create, it's also going to be a custom URL for that page, right? So this is one way of creating the page. Let's say I call it V2. So this is a page name. This is what you have to put. And whatever was there after salesforce.com, delete that, put slash apex, and then put the page name. Page name can be anything. It just has to be uh, a character or a number that is used in the page name. You cannot use a special character or space. Okay, should not have a space or special character. That's it. Press enter. The moment you press enter, you see this error, Visualforce error, and it says page does not exist. Okay, so if page does not exist, I have an option of creating the page here, right? Because I'm typing in this URL for the first time, it gives me that error, but I have an option of creating the page. So let me just go ahead and click on create page. It will create the page for me. That is it. My page has got created. Only thing that I have to do is now I have to control the content that I want to display on this page, right? So here is the content of the page. This is how my page is going to look. And here is the code. If you scroll down, you can click here and you will be able to see the code for the page. All right. So the line number 2 and line number 5 here are just comments, and this is what the content on the page as of now is, right? So if you want to just bring some static text, you can just type it in. That's more than enough. Put a line break and type in what are you doing and save it here. The moment I save it here, I can see the results there. All right. Now let's create this page to display data. Right now I'm just using this page to display static information, some text that I have typed in here and I just want to see it here. So that's what I'm doing now. Now I need to connect this page to the database so that it can display the data from the database. Most of the times, because you're creating a page on Salesforce, you will be interested in connecting it with the database, right? So we will use controllers in that case. Okay, this page has two primary elements, markups and controllers, right? Markup is anything that is visible on page. Okay, controller is set of controlling logics. So as of now, whatever we see on the page, it's all markup. There is no controller. All right. To bring the data from the database on the page, if I want to display account details on the page, or if I want to display an opportunity details on this page, I'll have to use a controller. That controller will control what data comes onto the page and how it is being displayed and all that stuff. All right. So there are different types of controllers. 4 types of controllers, in fact: standard, standard list, custom, and extension. There are these four types of controller. We are going to talk about each of them in details. Today we will start with the most basic one, that's the standard controller. All right. The simplest of all. What is a standard controller? Standard controller are, as you have seen, standard object and standard profiles and standard fields and all these things. The same way we have standard controllers. Standard controllers means the standard uh, controllers which are used by Salesforce pages. Salesforce also has those standard pages. So the controllers which are used by Salesforce for those pages. So these are all predefined. Here you don't have to. What is a controller? Controller is set of instruction, set of controlling logics or instructions. So it ideally should be a program, that you write. But if you use a standard controller, then you don't have to write the program. You just need to call the standard controller. That's it. That's all you have to do. All right. You just have to call that particular standard controller. That's what you have to do. You don't have to write program on your own. So that's a good part of it. So we can, very easily start creating pages using the functionalities of the standard controllers. Okay. So what is standard controller? Every object in Salesforce has a standard controller. Every object that we have in Salesforce has a standard controller. It has to have that. Why? Because every object by default comes up with certain pages. Now, if by default there are certain pages, certain standard pages, so there has to be some controlling set of controlling logics behind those pages as well, right? So every object, when I say every object, I mean all custom as well as standard and custom. Every object has a standard controller. All right. So when we want to use a standard controller on our page, we just have to call that standard controller. That's it. We don't have to actually go and write any logic. Okay. We just need to call that standard controller. How do you call it? You call it like this: standard controller equals object name. Okay. So on a page, I need to define this. Standard controller equals object name. Now, object name can be anything, whatever object you want to connect it to. Let's say standard controller equals account. If you write this, it will fetch the standard controller of the account object, and your page will get connected. So if I have to, make things more simpler for you, your page will get connected to the account object in the backend. So backend, there are so many, objects. If you want to display accounts data, then you should say standard controller equals account. Now your page gets connected to the account object. If you say standard controller equals opportunity, your page gets connected to the opportunity object, and it fetches all the details of the opportunity standard controller. So you will be able to use the standard functionalities of opportunity object. Okay. So Asha says example of standard controller. So Asha, this example is fine. Standard controller equals account, standard controller equals opportunity, right? That's how we call it.
जी so basically now accounts I mean उसमें होता क्या है like I mean when you say standard controller what do you exactly mean when I say standard controller is equals to account so what does it retrieve basically नहीं ना
See, if you read this line, every object in Salesforce has a standard controller, right? And it has a set
right
of controlling logics for its own pages, right? So when we are talking about a standard controller equals account, it will go and retrieve the standard controller of account object. Correct?
Acha, okay.
So for example, if I have 10 objects in the back end and I have controller for each one of them, if I want my page to get connected to any particular object, let's say, just don't go by this logic, go by a practical scenario. When you're creating a page and you want to create display data from a particular object, let's
Okay.
say campaigns data you want to display, then you have to have some
Okay.
mechanism to connect your page to that, right? This is that mechanism.
Right.
This is what you do.
Acha.
So that's it.
Okay. And is this only for standard objects or even for custom? Anything it works?
Standard and custom.
Okay. Got it.
Fine. So it works for all the objects that are there. If we have done the page layout part, we have seen that the page layout is there for all objects. When I create a custom object also, there is a default page layout which comes in. Common logic
Right,
is
right.
whenever there is a page layout or whenever there is a page will need to have a set of instructions or controlling logics. Set of controlling logics need to be there. So all these are saved by default in Salesforce as with the name of that object. Okay, so those standard
Okay.
controllers are stored. We are just going to leverage the code that Salesforce has automatically produced, and we are going to create our own Visualforce pages. We have that option.
Okay.
All right. So instead of we writing everything on our own, we are just going to leverage that.
Acha. Okay.
Okay. Everyone else
Yeah.
clear?
Thanks.
So the moment we do one example, we create a page. It will be more understandable, I
Okay.
guess. But at this point of time, I think we understand how do we call a particular standard controller on a Visualforce page. Now, where do we write this? You now know that. Okay, fine. Uh, Standard controller equals to account. If I write this on my Visualforce page, it will connect my page to account object, which means I can bring in data from the account object on the page and I can save data into the account object. So the connection gets set. But where do I write this? That's the other question that you will be having, right? So this needs to be written as an attribute of the page component. So we have this apex page component, right? And this controller is an attribute of the page component. So right at the top of the page, you have to define the controller. So this is a standard controller. I will say standard controller equals account. Good thing about Visualforce is that you don't really have to type complete things on your own. You just need to type a little and you have this IntelliSense. So you can just press enter here and say account. So far this was till the time you don't write this small standard controller equals account. This is a page without a controller. Okay, it's like a page which does not have any logic, will not do anything, just display a dead page. Okay, can just display this much, nothing can be done. Okay, now the moment you do this, you have actually connected it to the electricity. So now it's a page which can display you data based on whatever data you want to fetch from the database, right? However, this has got connected only to the account object. So connection has been sent to the account set to the account object. All right, so it's not connected to all the objects, it's just connected to one of the objects now. Okay, let me remove all this. I've deleted everything. So this apex page component is a must. Every page should have that. In that page component, I have defined standard controller as an attribute. Save it. All right. Now, how do I bring data from the object? It's very simple. You just have to use this syntax for displaying data from any field. Object name dot field name. Okay, this is a syntax. So if you want to display account name, it should be account dot name. Make sure the field name and the object name are correct. Okay, if I want to display industry, it should be account dot industry. So that is how it is. So whatever fields you want to bring on this Visualforce page, just bring them here. So I have standard controller equals account here. I want to bring in some account data here. It's a name, account.name. Put a line break, type. So this is just a label and this is the actual field value. Account dot type. Put another line break. Say industry. Phone, phone fax. That's it. So I've created a page. For that page, I've created my labels. Alright. Let's say you want to display your labels as bold. Put them as bold. So this is all HTML. Right. So labels are being displayed. However, my these field values did not get displayed. What is the problem there? I don't see the field values. What can be the reason for that? I want someone to answer this. There's no error in the code because if there was a syntax error, it would have given us an error here itself. So the fact that it is getting saved means there is no error in what I have written. Okay. So I want to display name, type, industry, phone, fax on this page. I save this page. It does not show me any error, but it does not show me any result also. What is the problem with this? What can be the reason? Anyone? Think about it. Try to use your logics to figure out what can be the reason. Why are we not able to see the data here? Okay. Asha says we haven't queried the records. All right. Anyone else? Uh, that's kind of correct. Anyone else who wants to add on something to it? No. Okay. Sterling says text box to get the data. Like not okay. So you both are partly correct. So let's put it in perspective here. In account object, I have connected it to the account object, right? If you try and look into the code and try to understand this, here I connected it to the account object. I came here and I say display account name. In account object, there can be 10,000 records, there can be 10 million records. Which account name needs to be shown? Did I mention that anywhere in the code? No. That is the problem. Okay. Which account's name I am planning to display? Because I have not, mentioned which account. That's the reason why it keeps it as a blank thing. All right. So where do I supply which account? If I put it somewhere here in the code itself, then again it will become a page for only one record. So in Visualforce, we don't make it page for a record. This page will act as a template page, and we will supply the ID in the URL. Okay, whichever records detail you want to display, you will supply the ID of that record in the URL, and it will fetch the information of that record and display it on the page. Got it? So in the page, that's what my code is going to be. Only thing that I'll have to do is I'll have to supply the ID of a record. Okay. So let me go here to accounts. Go to Burlington Textiles or anyone. This is the ID of the record. Okay. This is the unique ID of this record, Salesforce generated ID. Copy this. Go to your Visualforce page, and after this page name, put a question mark, ID equals, and paste the ID. Okay. So all that you have to do is put a question mark, say ID equals, and paste the ID, press enter. That's it. See, it shows me data now, right? I can see the data here. Question mark ID equals this. Correct? So that's how you connect a page to a record. Right now, you change the ID in the URL. You actually don't need to go ahead and change the code. So if I hard code the ID in my code somewhere with some logic, then what will happen? Every time I need to display a different page, either I'll have to go and change the code, or that page will work only for one record. But now this is a template page which I can use for any record. Now I want to use it for edge communications. Just copy the ID, come here, paste it. Remember, you have to put these 4 characters, question mark ID equals to, and after that put the ID. Press enter. Now it shows me details of edge communications. Alright, so I've connected it to the account object, and I have also gotten some fields from the account object here. Alright, Amish says, I was thinking same thing, but I thought there can be some other reason as I do not know much about Salesforce. No, see, basically this is more of a logical stuff, so try to use your logics everywhere. So our logics are all same across all softwares and all applications, right? Till the time I do not give an ID, how will Salesforce understand that which record are we talking about, right? So something like that, right? So nice that you guys were able to understand how it is working. All right, so now this is a standard controller. Now we have talked about a few controllers here. Standard controller, this is how it works. Okay, so for standard controller, you don't have to write code. Call the controller of object. You get connected to one object. Okay, so it will connect you to one object, and you can display data from one record, and you have to supply the ID in the URL. Alright, you have to call the controller of the object. You can get connected to one object. You can display data from one record on this and supply the ID in the URL. That's what needs to be done. Got it? So this is how it will work. Every time you have to, for a standard controller page, these are most of the times the detail pages of one single record, and these need this ID to display the data. All right, standard controller connects your page to one record, it is capable of connecting to one record at a time, and we always need to supply the ID here. So this is how the standard controller thing will go. All right. So let's do a small activity. Create a Visualforce page for opportunity. Not opportunity. Let's make it contact. Okay. Similar to the one that I've created, you guys need to create one for contact and display first name, last name, email, phone, and fax. Okay, so we'll have 5 quick minutes to finish it off for this assignment. Please go ahead and create it. Just log in into your developer editions. Manish, don't use this sequence, V1, V2 sequence. Okay, I will use that for our sessions here. You use some other sequence, maybe A1, A2, that sort of thing. All right. You can still use this account, but please use some different sequence. All right, so quick, I will just keep on making you guys presenter. We have just got 5 minutes to create this. So this time it has to be a page to display data from contact, and I want 5 fields: first name, last name, email, phone, fax. So let's see who can finish it off first. So I'll keep on sharing your screen one by one, just to track how you're working on that. Let me know once you are done, or wherever if you get stuck somewhere. Yeah, Asha, can you please share your screen? Let me see which edition you're using.
Sure, 1 second. What do I do?
Just log in into
Can you
your
see my
things
screen?
account. No, not yet. I made you presenter.
Now?
You just have to say share my screen.
I think I did.
Now I can see your screen. How's the
Okay.
developer edition?
Acha. I just have to make the changes here, right?
Yes, before that you just have to enable the development mode. Just go to manage users, set up manage users.
1 minute.
Go to users. Which user you are? The second one, I guess.
Yes.
Click on edit. On the right hand side, you see something called development mode.
Development mode.
In the right hand side.
Right hand. 1 minute.
Afterforce.com quick access more menu.
Right.
Just check it on, save it.
Acha.
That's it. Now you can start creating the page the way I showed.
Okay.
Delete everything
That's
after salesforce.com/fx/ page name. Give it something.
done. Take it. Thank you.
Make sure you guys are using the correct field names also on the the code. In the code, you have to use the correct field names.
Jeet, which fields I have to show from this contact object?
First name, last name, email, phone, fax.
Okay.
Great. Manish is done. So all that you have to do, Manish, is go and get details of one of the contacts. Open a contact, get the ID of that contact, and just put it there. Praveen, how is it going for you?
I think I need some more time.
That's fine. That's fine. No problem.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that you are understanding these basic concepts, right?
Yeah, but like I'm still
Because
facing problems because
you will have, yeah, because you need to attend the other sessions before
I
understand,
know.
because object, what is a field, all those things you still need to understand. So
Yeah,
no worries.
yeah.
I mean, if you just keep on understanding few basics, and after that, once you understand all that stuff, we will do all these sessions for you once again. So don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, that will be prefer. Like it would be better for me.
Yep, we're gonna do that. Don't worry.
Mhm.
Okay. So who's left? Pearl, how is it going for you? Great. So you've already done that, huh? So just all that you have to do is get the ID. Question mark ID equals to put the ID. Nice. Did you get the ID of an account or a contact? You're getting the ID of an account and putting there. You should take the ID of a contact, right?
Yes, sure. Got it.
Amish,
Are you able to see it?
yeah, now it's fine, right? There was no value for email phone. That is the way it is not being displayed, but other details have got displayed. That's correct.
Yes.
Nice. Amish, you're the only one left, man. What about you, Asha? Were you able to do
I
that?
think I'm getting an error.
You think, or you're
Actually,
getting an
not.
error?
No, I am getting an error.
Okay, what's the error? Read that.
V2 line 2 column 33. The element type apex page must be terminated by matching end tag, which I think I did, but
Okay. This that line break that you're giving now, that slash comes after
hmm.
BR.
Acha ji, got you.
Right?
Acha ji.
Great.
हाँ जी.
So we are able to create our own Visualforce pages, and we are able to connect it to a particular object and display data from that object, right? So that's cool. Now let's come back to my screen. Asha, you will need to put your microphone on mute, please. All right.
Sure.
So sharing my screen again. Okay. Now let's put a few more components on this page, right? So we have displayed data. Now let's learn how to put a few more components in this page. Let's say I want to, put it in two different blocks. Now the entire stuff has come like this. I just want to, let's say, put it inside a block. Okay. So there's another component which is called an apex page block. This will help you create a block, rectangular block for your page, and you can put all this information inside this. All right. So when you use this page block component, you get this kind of a rectangular block, and you can put some information inside that. Right. So this is just basically used for keeping your data a little more organized, make it look a little more neat. Okay. We have an option of putting a title for this page block component. You can just go and put a title, add a title for this block as well. It's as simple as just write title equals to whatever, my account. Okay. So this way you can just display something like this, my account, and as the title and the details inside the block. So by default, Salesforce comes up with these components which make your life a lot more easier as a developer, right? Because in case someone has done HTML or tried designing some way visual on Visualforce page, HTML page, and try doing something similar to this, you would understand that it takes considerable amount of time to write a code to make things look like this. But here things are by default coming up very neat and nice. All right. Okay. In case I want a dynamic title, I don't want to display my account. What I want is I want the title also to be dynamic. Let's say the name of the account should come as title. All that you have to do is just put this formula field here, account of name. That's it. If you want a static title, just type it. If you want this kind of a title, and then say save. Just give me a minute and then get saved. One moment, please. One moment, huh? Are you people able to access that salesforce.com website? Can you just go and refresh your page and check? Let me know. Pearl says yes. What's the problem here? Page is not responding. Didn't like my Visualforce page. There's no problem with the dynamic account name. There's some problem with this Salesforce.com getting loaded because every other website opens. Okay, so in the meanwhile, by the time it responds back here, I will just share Manish's screen. He says he has done that account name being displayed there. So Manish, can you just show us the code?
Is it visible, Jeet?
Yep, it's visible. Right, exactly. So, this is how you can actually use that dynamic title for your page block. All right. There's one more thing which we are going to do. We will create page block sections inside this page block now. Okay. What is a page block section? If you want to break a page block further, you can use another component which is called page block section. All right. So, Manish, you will have an option of, giving keyboard and mouse control to me. Can you do that? On the GoToMeeting window, you can see give keyboard and mouse control.
On the GoToMeeting menu, preferences.
No, there should be an option of giving keyboard and mouse control. You see that? Give keyboard and mouse.
No, Jeet.
How strange is that?
Let me see. Join page. Highlight this. No, Jeet. I'm not able to see that.
No? Okay.
Sure.
Just let it be. Okay. All right. I'm controlling it now. I'm controlling it now. Thank you. All right. So let's extend this code a little. I want to break it into page block sections. All right. It's always a good habit, good practice to use these tabs so that your code looks a little more neat. Otherwise, end of the day, you will start hating your code and you will not want to write any further. So right from the beginning, please get into the habit of writing, more organized code. That will make you feel better about your code and understand it as well, the way it's required. Now I want to put sections in this. Let's say the first three fields or the first two fields should be one section and the other three fields should be in another section. So all that you have to do is you just have to go and use another component which is called Apex page block section. So apex page block section is used for creating sections within a page block. So use apex page block section, and you have an option of putting titles to the sections as well. So just say title equals name section, let's say, and I will take these two fields. Save it. See, it has created a separate section for name. I have not created another section for the contact information. I can do that. Apex page block section. Title equals contact info, let's say. And we can just copy it, put it here. That's it, right? Now you would see that these sections are collapsible by default. All that you have to do is just make sure that you don't make you just keep that non-collapsible. So in case I don't want this to be collapsible, collapsible means I have an option of collapsing the section, right? So page block section by default are collapsible. If you don't want that, you have another attribute on page block section which is called collapsible. You can make it false, right? Then that section will not appear to be collapsible. That is right. So if you look into this, we have just used a few fields, and with the help of these components and their attributes, we are able to control the look and feel of the page very easily, right? So we really don't have to, worry about writing long piece of code to control the look and feel of the page. That is something which is, by default taken care of by the components that we have in Salesforce. All that we'll have to focus more on is, what exactly we are expecting from the page, right? Got it? So we will, discuss further into this. We'll create a few more examples on the standard controller, and we will see, how we can actually work more with the Visualforce components, right? In tomorrow's session, we meet tomorrow, same time, and it's going to be the same meeting ID as well. All right. So that's it. Anyone has a question before we leave?
Yeah, Jeet, I have one question.
Please go ahead.
Uh, I don't know you discussed this thing now or not because I was creating my page. Suppose I have created my this page and everything is coming, but the thing is like ID I am passing in the URL manually,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
है ना?
As of
But
now, we will
it's
be. Yeah, as of now, we will be passing ID through the URL only for some time,
अच्छा, okay,
and then we will, have a complete session on what are the different ways of fetching the ID automatically. So as of now, we have not gone into
okay,
that.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. I thought you have discussed, but I
No,
was busy in creating this page. So,
no, not discuss
अच्छा,
that
अच्छा,
at all.
okay,
All right. So for now, because we are just creating the
okay.
pages and for testing purpose, we will